Welcome everybody to my channel. Thank you so much to my subscribers, and of course welcome newcomers. I hope you like what you see, and if so, be part of this journey with us by hitting that subscription button, which is free, and the bell notification to be notified of the new uploads that I come up with. I want to thank every single one of you for your thumbs up, your comments, your suggestions, opinions, sharing, tagging me. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I also have a Facebook group, private group, that you can be part of as a member, as long as you have a profile picture or profile period, and you will be approved. There's a lot of scammers and a lot of fraud going on, especially with links that says bit or cut, and these frauds and scammers are all over the crochet groups now. So be careful, don't open those links up. And for that reason, my group is private. I also have Instagram and TikTok, Facebook crochet page, also all in the same name, Crochet Art Tutorials by Maggie Lopez. You can find me in all social medias with the same name and same picture as on here for the YouTube. Thank you so much for the women that have come through to help other women in need, either donating thread or donating money. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. So we are going to get started. Normally I use a 3.53 or 275 hook, little one to tuck in little ends, and of course a pair of scissors. Please don't forget to give a thumbs up always on the video, not just on my channel, but any other creator that you're involved with. It's extremely important for us creators. We cannot keep going on and spend so many hours and so much money on cameras, on lighting, on thread, on hooks, and so on. You know how it is, without us being recognized by YouTube. So please make an effort on that. We really do appreciate you. Let's get started, everyone. Thank you so much again. Okay, everyone, so today we're going to create an oval rug. It will be very delicate. There's a lot of details to it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's not my design, nor my creation. I'm not the one that invented it. This specific rug was created by one of the masterpieces of designers. She's from Brazil, Debora Tavares. I will leave her link below. You could always check her channel. You could always put your closed caption on and turn to the language that you would like, because she is Brazilian, so she is speaking in Portuguese. Her tutorials are in Portuguese, but she is just amazing. I was requested to create a round rug, same motive, same style as I'm going to do now, which is her creation also. But somebody had asked me for an oval rug, so I'm going to do the tutorial because the request was the oval. I'm going to do the not the oval, the round. I'm going to do the tutorial in oval with the same style that it was on that picture, but in oval shape instead of round. And of course, the creative designer, Debora Tavares, which she is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Debora. Beautiful piece of art you have created, my dear. So I'm going to try my best to do the same thing, similar or exactly the same. We'll see how it goes. I'll be using this type of thread. This is 80% cotton thread, 20% different fibers. This is, it's almost like a heavy yarn, heavy thread, because that's what you have to use for rugs. You can use like the macrame thread. That's perfect for rugs too. And so this is a 6-ply, so it's quite thick, as you can see. I'm going to incorporate different compared to my 4-ply, which is similar to Aunt Lydia. There's a big difference on my 4-ply and the 6-ply. This is like almost 2 times thicker. In case you don't have, you can use 2 strands of Aunt Lydia number 3, and you'll get the perfect size of rug. Okay, I'm also going to incorporate some leaves, margaritas, which I'll leave the link below, and I just did the tutorial on these beautiful little leaves. This will be added to this tutorial also. And also, before I forget, I also have this kind of thread, which I had bought years ago at Walmart when I was in Canada. And I had bought this there at Walmart. I'm sure you can still find it there or maybe online. This is almost like a rag to create rags and things like that. But I mean, it's just, I'm going to use a portion of this for this rug also. You can use whatever colors you want, or you don't have to use it. It just gives it a different punch into the rug. That's how she has it. And it's absolutely stunning. And so I'm going to use a half, like let's say, I think it's a row or two, only halfway of this to give that effect. I do have also a blue, multicolored blue, a little bit of purplish and white. So I'll see as I go. This is just perfect combination here too. So I'll see as I go. If I don't have enough blue, then I will use the white or mix a little bit of both in. Okay, and I'll be using, of course, the margarida flowers for different colors, which I'll create also in lavender, in white, to add into this rug. Okay, so I'm going to use hook number 3.5 and of course a pair of scissors and a smaller hook to tuck in loose ends, and we're going to get started, everyone. Thank you so much for being part of this journey with me. Please don't forget to give a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It helps the channel. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is that slip stitch knot, which never counts really for anything. And now we're going to do a 60 chain. Okay. Make sure that if your tension is too tight, grab a bigger hook, because especially for the first row, we don't want it to be pulling, or else the rug is going to pull too much. So this one is a 3.5. I'm trying to see where's my 4 hook. So this is my 4, and it's best that the first row is loose enough, or we're going to have issues. It's going to bend like a U shape, and that's not pretty. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go all the way to 60, and I'll meet you at the end. I've done my 60 chain, and now we're going to work backwards. In a sense, we're going back. So I'm going to skip. Let me get you a little bit more closer here. I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come in my 4th space and create double crochet. We're going to be doing this 1 per space all the way to the end. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, you guys, I also wanted to show you something. So as you saw, I used my number 4 hook to do my chain, and I started to do here at the beginning with the 4 hook. Now, if you can see, it started to bend, right? But I wanted to do that to show you, and then I've changed to my 3.5 hook. And now look how straight it becomes once you use a bigger hook to do that line. It's extremely important, you know, these things. It does make a difference on the pattern. So right away it started curving here, because using the same size, which the hole's already big enough with the 4. By tightening up with a smaller hook, it becomes more even and nice and straight. So just a little index for you. I think it should help you out in some of your patterns. Okay, you guys, so we have 58 double crochet. I'm going to do chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to come into the first double crochet with a slip stitch. So we're going to have a little loop here at this end. I'm going to come back in the same space and create a single and 2 chain. This will equal a double crochet. Into the next space, double crochet, into the next space, double crochet, trying to hide my thread as I go at the same time. And again, as I go. I keep hiding my leftover thread so I don't have to deal with it anymore. Another thing is, once you finish doing your double crochets and it's a nice straight line, now we're going to continue still with the 3.5. Then we can go ahead and use the 4 all over because we already have a straight line. We don't need to worry about that. Most important is that first straight line so it doesn't curve. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end. I'm still going to use my 3.5 to the end, and then I'm changing to my 4. Okay, so we had 58 double crochets on this side. And on this side, we have 57. We don't do the last one, which is that 58 that we have on this side, right? We're not going to do the last double crochet here. We're only going to leave at 57. We're going to use this last double crochet here. Okay, so we're going to do 6 double crochets, but what we're going to do is we're going to put a marker. If you don't have markers, you can do a different color of thread right on my last 57 double crochet here, okay? Or should I say on my first, on my first double crochet inside of the corner here. We're also going to put a marker on our 6th. So we have the first one already. We're going to come back in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 double crochet inside of that double crochet from the 58 double crochets we did. Looking for my marker here. So we're going to put a marker here also. We're going to be doing the same thing on the other side. Remembering what we do on one side, we have to do on the other. And now we're going to continue to create those 57 double crochets all the way to the end. Okay, so I'll meet you here at this corner just to make sure we're on the right track. Okay, so we've reached the corner, so I've done my 57. I'm going to come in and do my 6 double crochets inside of that 3 chain loop that we had created, and we need to put a marker on our first one and on the 6th one. So we're just going to put on our first double crochet at the corner, and also, and I put in the wrong one, and also on the 6th one. Okay, so we have 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to close it on our 2nd chain from the single and 2 chains we went up. Okay. Okay, everyone. So I've reached the end. We've closed with the slip stitch. I'm coming back in, doing a single. I'm using my hook 4 now just to get my pattern going into the next space. So we're going to do those 57 double crochets until the corner, and once we get to the corner, I'll meet you there. Okay. Okay, everyone, so I've done my 57. I've reached the marker, and inside of this marker which is the first double crochet, we're going to do 2 together. We're going to do 2 together on each one, but I'm going to put my marker not on the first double crochet we did, on my second, because this is where we'll have the increases as we go. So next space, double crochet, in the same space, double crochet, so it's 2 per space. Since we do have 6 double crochets here on the corner, we'll be having 12 double crochets total. Okay, double crochet, we're reaching the marker, so we're going to add 2 double crochets. I'm going to put in the second double crochet. This is where we are doing the increases, so not on the first but on the second. Did I get this right? Yes. And then you continue to do your 57 double crochets, which is that straight line for the rug, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so we've reached where we have the marker on this side. Now remembering what I said, what we do to one side we have to do to the other. So there's no point in me keep repeating, just put your markers, and when you do that one side, then you know when you get to the other side you have to do the same. So 2 together, we're going to put our marker on the second one, and then continue to do 2 together. You'll have a total of 12 double crochets here on the round corner. And my thread stuck in between my feet because I work with my threads on the floor, clean floor of course. So my markers here, and do the last 2 double crochets at the corner, and put your marker on the last one, so which is the second one from the 2 that we just did on this corner, and then close with a slip stitch on that single and 2 chain we went up. Make sure you give it a nice tight pull on it so we don't have any gap holes on it. Again, coming back in the same space, single, 2 chain, and again 1 per space all the way to the corner. So we'll have the 57 double crochets again. I'll meet you at the corner. I'm only going to show you the corner, and then you know when you come back where you have to add your increase on this side, because it will be exactly the same thing as I'll show you on here. Okay, everyone, so I've reached my marker. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to do 2 together on the same space, 1 and 2. I'm going to put my marker on the second one again. What I'm doing here, we're going to do on the other side the same thing. Now this next one is 1 double crochet alone. We're going to have 6 increases only. So we have the first increase, next one 1 alone, this one 2 together. That's the second increase. Next one alone, next one 2 together. That's my third increase. Next one alone, next one 2 together. That's my fourth increase. Next one alone, next one 2 together. That's my fifth increase. next one alone, and where I have my marker, 2 together, 1 and 2, and I'm going to put my marker on the last one, which is the second increase, second double crochet, just like that. Okay, and now we proceed with the 57 double crochets and create the same thing on the other side, exactly what we just finished doing. And I'll meet you at the end of my row once we finish to do the 2 increases here at the end, exactly what we just did here. Okay, so I did not complete yet. So we started here. Remember, we did, just for you not to get confused, the first one we did 6 double crochets. On this one we did 2 together, double crochets. On this one we did 2 together, 1 alone, 2 together, 1 alone. Now, what are we going to, we're not going to complete it, okay? We're going to work back and forth on this. So we're going to do, I'm going to take, okay, so I have removed my marker. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 chain up. I'm going to turn around, and on the same space, I'm going to do a double crochet, and I'm also going to put my marker back. So this is like as we're doing the increase. The only thing is we're working half pattern now because we'll be using different thread for the other side. Now, next one we're going to do 1 alone. Next one, 1 alone. So we'll be having 2 together, 2 alone, 2 together, 2 alone, 1 per space, 2 together on the same space, 1 alone, and 1 alone, 2 together. So this would be considered, let's say, row 1, okay, because this is pretty much the base. This is what's going to count as row 1. Two together, so 2 alone, 2 together, 2 alone, 1 per space, 2 together, 1 alone, next space, 1 alone, and where we have our marker, we are going to add the 2 together. 1 and 2. I'm going to put my marker on the second one, which is the last one. Okay. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet per space. Let me just check here for a second if I didn't make a mistake somewhere. So now we're going to be doing 1 per space all the way to the edge. Then I'll come back to you at the edge, right here where we started. Okay? Okay, everyone. So I pretty much finished here, and I was running out of white, so I'm changing color to this cream. Okay, I'm going to already turn around, coming into my first double crochet here with a single. Try to hide this thread. leftover thread. I'm going to do two chain, sorry, single, two chain. Next space. So we're going backwards again with one double crochet per space. Next space, all the way to the marker. So once I get to the marker, I'll come back to you. So I've reached the marker. I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to do two double crochets in the same space. I'm going to put the marker on my second double crochet, and now we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1 per space alone. So I have my first one, my second, my third, and now 2 together. And we're going to repeat that again. 3 double crochets alone, 1 per space, and 2 together. We're going to do that until the marker again, till the end, till we get to the marker, and I'll meet you there. So we're reaching the end. 1, 2, 3. My marker is on there. There's like 2 double crochets left. I'm going to add where my marker was on the first one here. Gonna add 2 together. We ignore basically this last one. Okay, we're going to turn around and we're going to do 1, 2, 3 chain, coming back in the same space and creating another double crochet. I'm going to put my marker again. Okay, and now we're going to do 4 double crochets alone, 1 per space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 2 together, 3 chain, double crochet in the same space, 4 double crochets, 1 per space, and 2 together again. We're going to do this all the way to the marker, and then 1 double crochet per space all the way down to the edge here. And I'll meet you here, okay? So I've reached the last one. I'm going to do my 2 double crochets together. We're going to ignore the second one that is on there. We're just going to do 1 per, not ignore, we're going to do 1 per space, okay? Okay, everyone, so I finished doing all of, so we are 1, 2, 3, 4. I finished doing the 4. I went up 3 chain, turned around, and did 1 per space. I'm on the 5th row, and I did 1 per space until the marker. Now in this row, we're going to do 5 double crochets alone. I got this mosquito flying around, good God, wants to bite me, and I missed him. And I'm going to do 2 together where my marker was. I'm going to put my marker back in, and then we're going to change everything from here on. And then we're going to do 5 double crochets alone, 1 per space. Now for sure this is going to take 2 videos, if maybe not 3, because of adding the flowers and the leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 alone, and 2 together. We're going to do this until the end where the marker is here. Okay, 2 together, and now 5 alone again. I'll meet you at the end just to make sure that you understood what I was saying. So we start row 1, we started counting 2, 3, and 4. We're working on the 5th one. So on the 4th one, we did all double crochets until the end. I went up chain 3 and then 1 per space, and then when I got to the marker, 2 together and put the marker again, and 5 double crochets alone and 2 together, 5 double crochets alone, 2 together until the end, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay everyone, so I'm at the end, and remembering just to make sure that you are on the right path, on these 6 rows there, the 5 rows, sorry, on these 5 rows there's 6 increases. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take out my marker. Five double crochets, and the last one, 2 together. I'm just going to put my marker back on here. Now what are we going to do? We're going to work with the other thread, and we are not cutting this thread. There's no point of cutting. So I'm just going to give it a good pull for now so it does not come apart. We're not going to work with that. We're going to be working now the back and forth, exactly what we did here. We're going to be working the same way on here, but with a different thread. And I wanted just to show you on this row 5 from here, right, the edge. So I almost forgot to put my marker on here. So my marker goes on here, and you have the first, not on here, sorry. You have the first increase right on here, which is right, there's the increase below. We did an increase on this 5th row on the first one, and then 5 double crochets, and then on the 6th, 2 together, then 5 double crochets alone, and then on the 6th, 2 together. So you have, just to recount, 1 increase, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so I'm going to come in now with that funny thread. I guess I'll call it funny thread. You don't have to specifically use that thread. You can use whatever thread you want. That's just going to bring out the pattern quite a bit. You could even use a different color if you like. So I'm going to come in with that multicolored blue. Like I said, you can find it at Walmart or whatever store you go to that might have this type of thread. Actually, no. I'm going to come in the first one right next to the 2 double crochets where we started. Let me just pull up the camera a bit. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to pull the string and I'm going to give it 2 knots so nothing comes apart. Now this is a funny thread to work with, but it does bring out a beautiful pattern. I just hope I have enough to go for the 5 rows, or I'm just going to have to mix some white in there because I don't have a full roll of this. I only have some. I've used quite a bit of this in the past, but we'll give it a try. Anyway, so I did 2 knots. Now I'm going to come back in the same space with the same hook, even though this thread is a little bit thinner, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do a, actually, try to do a single here so it can look like a normal. At least trying to do a single here. I can't do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 chain. Okay, now where we have the 2 double crochets, I'm going to come and hook it right here on this one. So it's almost like the size of half double crochet. So I'm going to hook it on here and I'm going to bring my thread through like that. And then I'm going to continue, and I'm trying to hide my leftover thread in between these stitches. So we're just doing those double crochets like we used to do. It's a funny thread to work with, it really is. But when you're using a good bigger hook, you're good to go. Because normally for this size, I would have to use like a smaller hook, and I'm not going to because it's better, and the lineup of the double crochet stays the same size. So we're going to do double crochet all the way to the marker, and then I'll come back to you. So very simple. So you would just lock it in on the first one here with make 2 knots, and then do 2 chain and come right here on the double crochet and grab it with the slip stitch. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end. Okay, everyone, as you can see, we are arrived where we have the marker. I'm just going to remove it to enter my 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. So this is basically the same exact thing as we've done on this corner. Okay, the only difference is we're using this type of thread. I'm going to put my marker back on because I don't want any mistake. So I've hooked it on. So we have 2 on the same space. Next space, 1 alone, exactly as we did on the other side. Next space, 2 together. Now this first one is not too bad to see. Next one, 1 alone. It's when we come around, because of all this fuzz, it's kind of hard to see, but you can once you're working on it. It's on camera that it's hard to see, okay? So I'll meet you here at the end. So 2 together, 1 alone. I'm at my marker, and I have 1 alone, and I'm going to do the 2 together. And I'm going to show you how we're going to go up to connect with that row. So my first double crochet, I'm going to do an incomplete, and where we have our second chain here, because we always started with a single and 2 chain, right there, I'm going to pull my thread right through it, and I've connected my 2 double crochets. I'm going to do 1, 2 chain again. I'm going to come on my second chain of that double crochet, because we always start 1 single, 2 chain, and I'm going to pull through. So I have my first double crochet. I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to create my second double crochet on the same space, which has just a little, you can see almost my nail right through it. So I'm going to do my 2 double crochets. Now on this second row, because it is the second row, next space is going to be now 2 double crochets alone. And you can see it when you're working on it. It's on camera that's hard. So my next line, I know it's like right there. Okay. So we have 2 together, 2 alone. Okay. And you can see that I have hooked it here. So I have 2 alone. Now I need to add 2 together. And 2 alone. 1, next space, 2. And of course you're going to put your marker because you can't forget that these are the increases, right? So we have 2 together, 2 alone, and again next space, 2 together, and we're going to continue that way until the marker, and then 1 per space all the way to the end, and then come back 1 per space again until the marker. So there's no point of keep repeating, because next row will be 2 together, 3 alone, exactly as we did with the other side. Next row will be 2 together, 4 alone, until the 5th row, which will meet exactly here at the end, because we do have 5 rows here. We are on our 2nd row, 1st and 2nd. Okay, so we have 1st, 2nd, then 3rd, 4th, 5th. We are working in our 2nd. We still have 3 to go. It's exactly the same thing as we did on the other side. We start off the 1st row, 2 together, 1 alone, 2nd row, 2 together, 2 alone, 3rd row, 2 together, 3 alone, 4th row, 2 together, 4 alone, and on the last row, 2 together, 5 alone. And I've already showed you how to hook it on. So if you need to rewind a bit, go ahead. You do 2 chain, come in right at the edge and slip stitch right through it, and then continue to do your double crochets. Okay, so I'm going to continue to do my 5 rows, and then I'll meet you at the end.